Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about speakers. So I'm going to go change the inputs, go back to this computer. We'll go to source, up, we'll go back to this PC. This model is the HWKM57C. When it's connected is the one we had, which is the K550. It's got the surround, so you got the soundbar, the bass reflex, and you got the 2 rear speakers. I like that system. My intention was to go back and get this system. I had it hooked up through Bluetooth. What I liked about it, it had a good sound, needed to turn up the bass to get the full impact of it, but I was pleased with it, and I was pleased with the price. But this one, even though it doesn't show because I need to be logged in, is now less expensive than the one we had that died on. The disadvantage of it is they did not have this in the store. This is only available from the website. To purchase from the store, Samsung has a soundbar with a bass reflex, and it's a smaller one. So as I'm looking at a soundbar, I got to have one, number one. Question is which one. I want to get at least what I had or something better. So do I upgrade or do I do a lateral? The lateral movement, I'll show you. I found one on, if I can find it real quick, I found one on Amazon that I like that's based on hearing aid technology. And I'm thinking about looking at that later. So the one I'm going to show you today, and I'll show you where it's at, I went ahead and got because I wanted to upgrade and I wanted to see if it was worth what it was going to cost. I've always been a fan of this brand, but I didn't think I'd ever have one of these. But I wanted to try it because I didn't care for the other options that Costco had in the store. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an unboxing and setup, and that'll be the first part of this video you're going to see. And then later, the latter part will be, I'll tell you what I think about it and what I like about it. Now this is the Bose SoundTouch soundbar system. And this system has 2 items. It's got a soundbar and a bass reflex. Now, I've read the reviews, and a lot of people comment that they don't like the bass reflex that comes with this. Going to Costco and listening to this and listening to the clips or Serve Vega, I think sound ought to be felt as well as heard, but that's what I think. Anyway, trying to compare this soundbar, which has 2 items, to the Samsung, which was a whole lot less, about 1/4 the price. The Samsung we had sounded good. The Samsung in the store that had just 2 speakers, the soundbar and the bass reflex, to me sounded muddy. Speakers need to have really good, crisp, clear speech, very intelligible, because sometimes folks like me, I get a little slurry with my diction. So I want to try to hear, whether it's the news or a movie, I want to hear people talking. So I decided we're going to try this. But if this doesn't do what I'm hoping, where we can hear it clearly, there's another one. In fact, I'll save that one, and I'll tell you what, based on the kind of response we get from this, I hope a lot of people will look at this, and then you can make your own determination. But based on the response, we may, in say in 30 days or so, take a look at that other sound bar that's based on the hearing aid technology, because it's a very subjective item, and we can go through that. For example, Mom has hearing aids. She can't hear the speakers with this TV. I can't hear the speakers with this TV without turning it way, way up, and still it's just not real crisp and clear. In fact, because I do capturing, I turned on the capture window, and while we were watching the video last night for something we were interested in seeing, we listened to the audio through the computer so I could get good quality sound audio, but I still had to turn it up. So having a soundbar is essential. The question is which one and how far you want to go. So we're going to try this and we'll see what we think about it. So the first thing we're going to do is an unboxing and setup. So we're going to take a look at the elements and the items that are in it. Now, hooking up the soundbar, we can hook it up through Bluetooth. We can hook it up with HDMI ARC, which is the audio recovery channel. And for this Samsung 65-inch, the audio recovery channel is input number 4. If I use input number 4, which is on this computer, I lose one of my inputs for a computer, and I don't want to do that for audio. The third option is to plug it in with the light pipe cable. I'm contemplating that. I would rather do it through Bluetooth. The disadvantage, I'll have to turn it on with its own remote. I cannot, or I have not been able to turn it on if I figure out what the program code is to program that in so that it would work off Bluetooth. We'll see. But the simplest would be to hook it up with Bluetooth, and that's my first inclination. So I'm going to shut this computer down so I've got room to pull this speaker in, and you'll see the segments as you'll see the box. Then I'll take the box out, then you'll see the items 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go from there. So stay with us. First thing we're going to do is change the input. We'll go to PC number 1. Okay, now I've got to shut this computer down. Okay, this is the box that the Bose soundbar comes in, and this is called the Bose SoundTouch soundbar system. Now, some people have complained that this particular system, because of the price point it's at, is not the complete system, but it hits a price point that if you want this soundbar with the original larger bass reflex speaker, then you can buy that direct from Bose or somebody else. But this hits a price point that's not the high end, but it's not the low end either. We're going to see if this speaker meets our needs. So this is the box it's in. It's kind of curious because you think about it, you've got 3 items in here. Basically, you've got the soundbar, the bass reflex, you've got a remote, a wall wart for plugging in for power, and that should be pretty much it, and a manual. Weight-wise, this is more bulk than weight. The TV itself, the 65-inch, was 53 pounds. I'm not sure about the weight on this. This feels like maybe close to about the same. First thing on top is the manual. Little envelope, looks like an invitation of some type. Okay, the first box out is the soundbar itself. Wow, that's heavy. Now we'll hang on to the packing for a little while because you never know, just if this doesn't meet our needs, we'll want to be able to send it back complete. There's a box in the bottom of the soundbar that's got some parts in it. I can't get over how heavy this is. Okay, in the box we have our remote, new remote. Now that's what I call a remote. Now that's a remote. And it works off of 2 AAA batteries. Some more literature, cleaning cloth, some more literature, power cable, and we have 3 cables. It includes the light pipe cable, it includes an HDMI cable, and it also includes, that looks like some type of a remote. And in the middle, the bass reflex. This is definitely well packed. Another power cable, some more literature, it's kind of like going on an Easter egg hunt. Okay, now we've got the whole thing out of the box. We've got our major components. I can't get over how heavy the speaker bar is. I mean, there's some heft to this. It's even ported on the back. Connection for power, connection for network, connection for custom mass, Adaptiq, optical in, a connection for setup, HDMI in and HDMI out to TV for ARC. Warranty information, register the product, which is a good idea. SoundTouch 300 soundbar. SoundTouch 300 universal remote. SoundTouch sound system, start here. First thing to do is place the soundbar and bass module. Bass is omnidirectional, so set it wherever it's convenient. Choose an audio cable. Option 1 preferred is HDMI ARC. Option 2 is optical. And option 3, it doesn't show using the Bluetooth, so we'll see. We've got the power cable for the bass reflex, and we have a power cable for the soundbar. Okay, we got the soundbar placed. Now, the bass reflex speaker has the connection on the back. I'm going to turn this around where it looks kind of like a handle and flip it up. There's a cutout right here, and in this cutout there's a place for power on this side. Left power, custom mass on the right, and in the back there's a button, and there'll be a light that'll come on when we're ready. So we're going to take this, turn it around, we're going to place it. This time, instead of hooking it up through Bluetooth, I'm going to see if we can do as they suggest and hook it up with a light pipe. That's a remote. Now this Samsung 65-inch has the Samsung One Connect I/O box, and it has light pipe on one end. So we're going to hook up this soundbar with a light pipe, see how that works. Okay, step 1, place the soundbar in the bass module. Step number 2, choose an audio cable, either option 1, which is preferred, HDMI ARC. I'm not going to use HDMI ARC because I want to keep that input for 4 inputs on the TV. Or use the optical cable. So we plugged in the optical cable. Now we're going to power on the soundbar, and the next thing to do would be to power on the bass module. Then we pair the soundbar and the bass module together before we connect it with the TV. So we'll power on. If you notice the remote, and if you notice the power button up here on the top left, okay, we have a little white light come on. Now we'll turn on the bass reflex. It had an amber light on the back, so both units are turned on. Now what we want to do is pair the 2 units. On the remote control, we're going to press right here in the center of the screen, this little mark, almost looks like a note. Press on the remote, that button, and then press and hold 7 until we get 2 circles. We see a series of lights on the upper left-hand corner over here showing up, so holding the 7. Yep, I heard it. So we have 2 amber lights and 1 white light. And the next thing to do is to set up Adaptiq audio calibration. Connect the Adaptiq headset to the SoundBar and put the headset on. Well, this should be interesting. Wonder if I need to put on my little tinfoil hat. And that's just a regular 1/8 inch ring tip sleeve. Okay, the plug for the Adaptiq audio calibration is right next to the light pipe. Obviously it didn't unravel the way it's supposed to. Can't tell if there's a left or a right to this. Set up Adaptiq audio calibration. Now we're going to run Adaptiq audio calibration. Put our little hat on the remote. Press what looks like a little note wiper button. Press and hold 8 until the Bluetooth bar on the SoundBar glows green.
English. To select this language, press the volume up button.
Volume up.
Welcome to the Adaptiq audio calibration system.
Wow.
Please make sure the headset is positioned on your head as described in the setup guide.
Got it.
To continue, press the volume up button.
Volume up.
To replay an instruction during Adaptiq, press the volume down button. To continue, press the volume up button.
Volume up.
You will be asked to move to 5 different locations while wearing the headset. Choose locations that will be the primary listening locations for this system. At each of your listening locations, the system will play the following test sounds for about 10 seconds. Let's begin. Please move to the first listening location and remain still. Once there, please press volume up to continue. Let's begin. Please move to the first listening location and remain still. Once there, please press volume up to continue. Excellent. The measurements are now complete for this listening location. Please move to the next listening location and remain still. Once there, please press volume up to continue. Excellent. All the measurements are complete. Please wait while the system is calibrated to suit the acoustics of your room. Congratulations! The Adaptiq process is complete. Please unplug the Adaptiq headset to enjoy Bose quality sound customized to this listening area.
Okay, so we've gone through the process. We wore our little funny little hat. We've taken off our headset. Now let's see if we can get this cable put back together in a fashion that we could undo it if we needed to. Use it again. Okay, so we run Adaptiq. Now we can also run this thing from a smartphone. You can download the SoundTouch app. We don't have a smartphone, so we're not going to worry about that. Now it says program the remote control. Refer to the Universal Remote Control Setup Guide for instructions on programming and using the remote. Wow. Let's see how this sounds. We hear the TV. I'll go to Source, Settings, and it shows Output TV Speaker. Optical out. Now let's see what we've got with optical out. Okay, now for an update. We've got the soundbar installed and configured. There's 3 possible ways to connect the soundbar to the TV. I've done the light pipe. I didn't care for that for the way the controls work. I tried the HDMI and HDMI ARC. I didn't care for that either. My favorite way to hook this up so that all remotes will work, and there's different reasons for different remotes. I'm not the only one that uses the remote here. But so that I can do this the way I'm used to, I found I prefer hooking the soundbar up through Bluetooth. All I had to do was pair it. So all I had to do was use the remote on the Bose, and there's a button up here for Bluetooth on the right side. Once I activated that button, then I went into the TV menu with the TV remote, and we'll go over to settings. I'll press the button. I get this menu up. I went to sound output, and then what I did was I said show me the speaker list, and I said connect to that Bose SoundTouch 9929EE, and it did. Now the old soundbar is still there and it's still paired. I can go through and I can delete that, connect or delete. I'm going to just hit the backspace button, and I'm just showing you it's still there even though it no longer exists. For example, strictly for example, but right now we're using the Bose, and I'm able to use the remote that comes with the Samsung Smart TV. I'm able to use the remote that comes with the Bose, but also the remote that comes with AT&T Uverse. And the purpose being that I can hit the volume button or the remote button, and it works on all three remotes. I did not have it working with HDMI, did not have it working with light pipe, but I've got it working with Bluetooth. So that's the way I'm going to leave it. I'm happy with it. Now I'll give you a report later on as we progress through this to see how it sounds and see if we get a distinct difference in sound. I've gone through and let it optimize the places we sit where we listen to it. So this is the first part. I hope you found this helpful, and when we do the next part, we'll give you some thoughts on likes and dislikes. I'm still not convinced this is the way to go for a soundbar, but we're going to try this, and we may opt later for another soundbar that works with the sound output. We may opt for another soundbar later that works specifically with hearing aid technology. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the next video.